Hello everybody, my name is Jenna and today I'm doing a movie review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This review is going to be spoiler free, so don't worry if you haven't yet seen the film, although I highly recommend that you do. You can watch this video without fear of being spoiled. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is obviously a sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out in 2014, I want to say. It is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is part of Phase 3, I believe we're currently in. Picks up a couple months after the first film finished and follows Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket and little baby Groot as they work to save the galaxy again, I guess is the best sort of way of describing it. Going into the film, I didn't really know much about the plot at all, and now that I've finished the film and like I've seen it and sort of processed it, I kind of realized why that is. So Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, was one of my favorite Marvel films of all time. It's one of the ones that my family and I absolutely love. So my entire family, we went and saw it together and oh my goodness, it was so funny. It definitely lived up to the first film in many ways, but also it had sort of a different feel to it than the first film did. So the first film was kind of plot driven with a lot of character arcs sort of thrown in there as well, but there was like a very obvious plot in the first film, whereas in the second one, whenever I watched the trailers, I didn't sort of know what was going on. All I sort of knew was that they were saving the galaxy again. I didn't know who from or why, but now that I've seen the film, I can definitely say that this film is much more of a character driven story. It has a lot more focus on the character arcs than it actually does on plot. So in this film, we follow Peter Quill, who is of course from Earth, but was taken from Earth by Yondu a very long time ago. 36 years later, no, not 36, but it's a long time in the future, basically. And so it sort of follows them in this little group, and they have been working together for quite a while, like 3 months now, to basically they just do kind of like odd jobs to defend planets and things like that. So when we first come up with them in this movie, they are defeating this massive like tentacly thingamabob, and the opening scene was just really funny. It was really great. I loved it. It was a very different opening scene to a film than I think I've ever seen before, which made it really unique and definitely set up the tone for the rest of the movie. So considering the fact that this film was a lot more character driven than it was plot driven, I have to say the storyline for this film was kind of weak. It was definitely one of the weaker storylines in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I've ever seen, but that didn't mean that I didn't still absolutely enjoy the film. I just think that the plot wasn't super there, if that makes sense. There wasn't really like a plot. It just kind of was like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a bad guy and here's another one just for conflict. So that's sort of how it felt for me, but I still really enjoyed it, and the character aspects of things were really good. This film focused a lot on Peter and who his father was. It also had a bit of a focus on the sort of romantic sexual tension happening between Star-Lord and Gamora that we've had sort of happening, you know, since the first film, which I absolutely love. I think they're so cute, and baby Groot stole the show 100%. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the characters now. So like I said, we follow the 5 core characters. So we follow Star-Lord, Peter Quill, who is trying to figure out who his father is, and he sort of meets his father in this movie, which is really great. And then we follow Gamora, who is coming to terms with the fact that she's sort of free of Thanos, but also she is trying to come to terms with her sister Nebula. So Nebula also kind of joins them in this movie. Nebula had a really odd story arc in this film, but it was one that I really enjoyed. But she sort of joined them, and then we also of course have Drax, who is, I didn't totally get Drax's story arc in this one. In the first film, of course I did. He was trying to get revenge for his for his family's death. In this one, he was just kind of there because he had a lot of great comic relief lines. He definitely formed a very close relationship with new character Mantis, but apart from that, I didn't really get him in this movie. And of course we have Rocket, Rocket had one of the biggest character arcs in this one, I believe. So he sort of he's trying to come to terms with why people would like him and want him to be part of like the family, I guess, that they've sort of created for themselves. And then we also have Yondu, who was the person that picked Peter up from Earth all those years ago, and we definitely get to know more about him, know more about his background, and know more about why he didn't deliver Peter the way he was supposed to, so all that sort of stuff. So like I said, we had new character Mantis, who is kind of awesome, and I'm really hoping that she like stays with them. I think she will. I think she's kind of like there to stay now. And we had baby Groot. Baby Groot stole the show, as we knew that he would. He was adorable. He was like little cute. He was just so adorable. I loved him so much. He was really cute, and he had some really great moments as well, and you're just like, oh baby Groot, I love you so much. Then of course we had other characters. So we had Peter's dad Ego, who we learned a lot about. We had the Sovereigns, who I still don't really get, but one of the end credit scenes involves them, and I think that's going to tie into one of the Avengers movies coming out. I don't really know. I'm not great at comic books, So I'm just going off what I saw in the movies, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing that's happening. I really quickly just want to talk about the music in this one. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy was famous for its Awesome Mix Volume 1 because the songs were just so incredible. I do have to say I was a little bit disappointed with the songs from Awesome Mix Volume 2. They were still good and I still did enjoy them, but they just didn't have that same sort of impact that the first movie did, especially because the first movie sort of used the songs sort of I mean, they did use it. It was really cute. There were a lot of moments with the music still, which I thought was really lovely, but it wasn't like as hard hitting as the first film. All in all, I have to say that I would probably give this film a 5 out of 5 stars because I did really enjoy it. While it didn't have a lot of plot aspects to it, the character arcs that we got definitely sort of made up for that. The characters themselves are great. There was so much humor in this film. It was absolutely hilarious. I really loved it. I really want to see it again. And once again, baby Groot. That's all I'm gonna say. Let me know in the comment section below if you have seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and what you thought of it. I would love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.